Dynamax has now been out for about a week in Pokemon Go, and today I want to let you guys know everything there is to know about Dynamax, from the numbers behind it to the tips and tricks so you guys have the ultimate guide on whether you're going to be playing this feature or not. Let's get into it. Okay, so first of all, Dynamax of course stems from the main series Pokemon games, and if you've played the main series games, it's very similar in Pokemon Go. You'll pretty much be able to find these Dynamax battles at these things called power stops. You can then team up with up to 4 trainers, take down this Dynamax Pokemon, and then have a chance to catch this Dynamax version of a Pokemon. Now, Dynamax Pokemon is pretty much just a bigger version of a regular Pokemon, just like imagine Squavit went to the gym and got really big. However, in the main series games, there's also these things called Gigantamax Pokemon. Now, Gigantamax Pokemon are similar to Dynamax Pokemon in which they get bigger, but they have special looking forms when they Dynamax, or Gigantamax, I guess. Now, at the moment, we don't have any Gigantamax Pokemon in Pokemon Go, but we will be discussing a little bit about them in this guide. And we do see icons for Gigantamax in Pokemon Go and references of it in the tutorials, so most likely we will get Gigantamax Pokemon at some point. Now, Dynamax Pokemon in Pokemon Go can only be caught at power stops. That's the only way to get these Pokemon, except for 2 Pokemon, a Wooloo and a Squavit you get from the introduction tutorial special research for Dynamax. You cannot Dynamax any of your existing Pokemon, making this a completely secluded side quest. So no, that level 50 Rayquaza you already have in your storage, you can't Dynamax it. You can only Dynamax Pokemon got from Dynamax battles, or of course those 2 special ones you get from the special research. Now, it's very easy to spot if a Pokemon is Dynamaxable or not. It has an icon similar to like a shiny Pokemon in the storage, and also when you are in the menu, and go ahead and click on the Dynamax button to go ahead and see what this Pokemon would look like Dynamaxed. If there's a Dynamax symbol, it's a Dynamax Pokemon, and in the future, if there's a Gigantamax Pokemon, that will be a Gigantamax legible Pokemon. Now, when you catch a Dynamax Pokemon from a Dynamax battle, it is always going to be caught at level 20. So yes, the exact same as raids. And no, at the moment, Weather Boost does not boost Dynamax battles. Now, we don't know if this is a bug or not because it's a new feature, but at the moment, Weather Boost will not allow you to catch a level 25 version of a Dynamax Pokemon. Now, the IV floor of Dynamax Pokemon is going to be 10, 10, 10, giving them the exact same odds of getting a hundo as a raid Pokemon, with a 1 in 216 chance of getting 100% IV from a Dynamax battle. Dynamax Pokemon, of course, can be shiny, most likely if that Pokemon can be shiny in Pokemon Go as a whole. So most likely if we get some non-shiny available Pokemon in the Dynamax forms, they won't be able to be shiny. Now, people ask, what are the shiny odds for Dynamax Pokemon? At the moment, we only have 5 of them in game, so it's kind of hard to tell, and research is being conducted, but based on some screenshots I've seen online, specifically of people like Fleece King, who have done over 100 Dynamax battles with no shinies, most likely the shiny rates follow the same shiny rates for that Pokemon. If you don't know in Pokemon Go, shiny rates are per Pokemon, not per encounter. So for example, Charmander has a 1 in 500 shiny rate. Most likely that means across the board, whether you get it in eggs, raids, Dynamax battles in the wild, it always has that odds. And most likely this is how it is for Dynamax battles. So when legendaries do come to Dynamax, potentially, they will have a 1 in 20 odds because those are the odds of a shiny legendary. And same thing goes with perma boosted Pokemon. You know, if we get a Alolan Meowth in Dynamax battles, it'll probably have a 1 in 64 chance. Now, Dynamax Pokemon can Mega Evolve. If you catch a Charmander evolve into a Charizard, you can Mega Evolve that Charizard. However, when the Charizard is Mega Evolved, it cannot Dynamax. It can't be a Dynamaxed Mega. That'd be crazy. Also, if you Mega Evolve a Dynamax Pokemon, you cannot use it in a Dynamax battle. You have to un-Mega Evolve it first before using it. So yeah, unfortunately, there's no correlation between the two in that aspect at the moment. Now, like raids, when you complete a Dynamax battle, you will get a set of Premier Balls. At the moment with the 1-star raids, we are getting 10 Premier Balls. These are the only balls you have to catch. So most likely when the legendaries come around, you're gonna only get a certain amount of Premier Balls, and if you don't catch that legendary, that Dynamax Pokemon will run. Now, there is an option Niantic implemented to spend 200 coins to double your rewards, so you can use 20 Premier Balls. It also doubles the rewards of the amount of XP you get, the amount of rare candies, potions, all that stuff. Pretty much just instantly doubling your rewards for 200 coins. Now, we can't see the CP of the Dynamax Pokemon before we actually have the catch screen, so at the moment, doubling your rewards is not really worth it because you don't really know if it's a hundo or not. And also at the moment, all we have are 1-star raid bosses, which are really easy to take down and catch. So most likely doubling these rewards is not going to be very useful at all, and a complete waste of your Pokecoins until potentially legendaries come down the line. But even then, like, I don't know, it's pretty hard to justify spending 200 coins just to get a couple more Pokeballs, unless you like know it's 100% IV and you know it's going to be really hard to catch. Okay, let's talk about Max Particles. Now, Max Particles are the resource needed to do Dynamax battles. Some people call them MPs as well, so if you see that term going around, that's Max Particles. Now, Max Particles can be collected from number 1, interacting with power stops, similar similar to Pokestops, or by walking 2 kilometers. When you interact with a power stop, you can go ahead and click on it and collect these max particles. You will get 100 max particles with every power stop you interact with. However, if there's a power stop you've never interacted with, you will get a bonus of 20 up to 120 max particles from interacting with a power stop. Now, when you walk 2 kilometers, you will get 300 max particles, which you can claim at any time. Only once you've claimed the 300 max particles will your walking distance reset to 0. You can go ahead and claim these, by the way, in the Dynamax menu. There is a limit to the amount of max particles you can collect for free every single day, and that is 800. There also is a limit on how many max particles you can go ahead and hold, which is 1,000, but there is a trick to exceed this 1,000 limit. Now, the key is the first thing to go ahead and claim your 300 max particles. That will bring you up to 300 max particles. Then you want to go ahead and interact with power stops until you get to around 700 or as close to 800 max particles as you can, but not exceeding this limit. Then you want to walk another 2 kilometers and claim another 300 max particles and get up to 1,080 max particles at one point by doing this trick. And theoretically, you can get even higher. Also, you can purchase max particles in the shop. This goes into a completely separate storage where there is no max in the amount you can hold or buy. So don't worry, any purchase max particles won't go towards any of these limits. Now let's talk about power stations. Power stations are where you're going to collect max particles and you're going to go ahead and battle in max battles. These are going to be POIs that move around every single day. So unlike Pokestops, they're not set in Pokemon Go. They're going to be moving around every couple days. These POIs, by the way, are based on Niantic's huge map of POIs they've collected and they use in other games. So like where you find a power stop in Pokemon Go might be some sort of interactable POI in another game like Ingress or Monster Hunter Go in the other Niantic games. Research is still being done on exactly how appear and if we can control how they appear. So stay tuned for that if you guys are looking to try to get some more power stops in your area. There is a power stop menu tab as well where you can go ahead and scroll over similar to raids and the wild Pokemon if you want to see what Dynamax battles are active in your area. Now, power stops have a timer and this will tell you how long that power stop will be there until it despawns. Power stops are only actually spawned in from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. After that point, they'll despawn and then they'll respawn the next day, sometimes in the same spot and sometimes in a different spot. There will only be one Dynamax battle at each power stop every single day. So if you defeat a Dynamax battle at a power stop, you won't be able to battle another Dynamax at that power stop until the next day. So it's not like raids where they refresh and you can have multiple raids at the same gym every single day. Also, there is a feature at power stops in which you can find exclusive spawns after defeating a max battle at that power stop. You'll see a special icon by those spawns. These are not Dynamaxable Pokemon. Okay, let's talk about these battles. Well, first of all, you need to be level 13 or higher to go ahead and even compete in Dynamax battles. And hitting level 13 will give you the To the Max special research story, which should be available forever and will introduce you to Dynamax battles. This is that research storyline I talked about that will get you your first 2 Dynamax Pokemon. You can get started with Dynamax because of course you can't do a Dynamax battle without a Dynamax Pokemon. So once you've collected the To the Max special research, complete it and you'll get a Dynamax Wooloo and a Dynamax Squavin. Of course, you can only use Dynamax Pokemon in Dynamax battles. There will be no option to select your other Pokemon, meaning without Dynamax Pokemon, you can't do a Dynamax battle. When you are battling a Dynamax Pokemon, the Dynamax raid boss, or whatever you want to call it, the Dynamax opponent, will not use any fast moves. They're only going to be using their charge moves and their max moves. Now, when a Dynamax Pokemon uses their charge move, it'll give you a little warning in the bottom right, similar to raids, letting you know, and you can go ahead and dodge this move if you use the correct timing to take reduced damage. However, some of the Dynamax Pokemon will then use their max moves. These cannot be dodged at all and will hit you very, very hard. We haven't really seen as much as this because again, the 1 stars, they don't really attack back that often, but this will most likely come into play when we get the 3 stars and the 5-star Dynamax battles. Now, Dynamax battles have 3 different tiers similar to raids: tier 1, tier 3, tier 5. It costs different amount of max particles to enter a Dynamax battle. Yes, it costs max particles to do these, not raid passes. You need to spend 250 max particles to go ahead and join a 1-star Dynamax battle, 400 max particles to join a 3-star, and 800 to join a 5-star. Again, we don't have them in game yet, and these numbers are subject to change. Your max particles though will only be taken when you defeat the Dynamax boss. So yes, if there are some 5-star bosses in the future that are really hard, you're not actually going to have to pay for that until you go ahead and defeat the boss, which is great. So you keep trying it over and over again without using your resources. Now, of course, you can join the Dynamax battle and up to 3 other trainers can join. And similar to raids, if there's already a lobby of 4 people, it'll just put you into the next lobby if there's multiple people at that power stop doing that Dynamax battle. Dynamax battle, by the way, are in person only and you cannot invite people to them. So yes, this is a whole in-person feature. Now, once you join a Dynamax battle, you'll have up to 120 seconds to go ahead and wait until it starts. Of course, there is a ready up button if you would like to go ahead and ready up. So it's a great thing they went ahead and added those. If everybody readies up, it'll drop the timer down to 15 seconds. There is no timer. This is my favorite part of the Dynamax battles. There's no timer, no time limit. The only way you lose a Dynamax battle is if all of your and all of your teammates' Pokemon completely faint. This gives you much more strategic thinking to Dynamax battles. It's not all about the damage. Sometimes it's about healing or using your different different Dynamax moves that will reduce incoming damage, and there'll be a lot of strategy involved, especially when it comes to the 3-stars and the 5-star Dynamax battles. Because Dynamax battles though are similar to raids, most likely the top raid attackers in Pokemon Go will also be the top Dynamax attackers. So referencing my video on the best Pokemon to power up in Pokemon Go is a great way to see some of the best Pokemon, but of course we are limited to whatever Pokemon can Dynamax in Pokemon Go. I highly recommend you get yourself a Dynamax Venusaur, Blastoise, and Charizard because that covers the 3 elemental types, especially with Dynamax bosses like Beldum, which are coming around. Now during a Dynamax battle, you can go ahead and use your fast move and your charge move similar to a raid. However, at the top, you will see a meter that slowly fills up. Once this max meter is filled up, you and all of your teammates can go ahead and Dynamax, and you will all Dynamax at the same time. You guys share a meter. Now, based on some research, it seems like the more damage you do, the faster this meter fills up. So evolving your Pokemon and powering up your Dynamax Pokemon does lead you to do more damage, which means your meter will fill up because your attacks will be doing more damage. There also is a theory that based on if your charge move is a 1-bar, 2-bar, or 3-bar charge move will influence how fast this meter fills up. This research is still being done, but for now, it seems like the more damage you do, the faster you Dynamax. Once you've Dynamaxed, you will have the option to use 3 max moves, and once you've used your 3 max moves, you will undynamax and have to refill this meter. Now, while you are attacking the raid boss, you will see these little bubbles appear to the right or the left of your Pokemon, which can go ahead and collect Dynamax quicker. Swipe to the right or swipe to the left to go ahead and have your Pokemon hover over it, and you will collect that, and that will be added to your meter. That's another quicker way to increase the speed at which you Dynamax. Okay, let's talk about these max moves, these special moves that you get access to when your Pokemon is Dynamaxed. There are 3 different types of max moves. You have the Max Attack, Max Guard, and Max Spirit. Max Attack, as it goes, is obviously the attack move, the one that does damage, and it does huge damage. This move is automatically unlocked, and every Dynamax Pokemon comes with it. It's pretty much just going to be a move that matches the type of your Pokemon's fast move. So if your Pokemon has a fighting fast move, your Max Attack move will be a fighting type, aka Max Knuckle. Max Guard is going to be the second max move that you actually need to spend max particles on and candy to unlock. Max Guard will act like a shield, so when you use Max Guard, you will have these extra little shield icons come behind your health, and they will go ahead and absorb some damage. Sometimes if it's against a weak boss, you'll notice when they attack you, some of the shield gets broken, but still it doesn't touch your health. Think of it like in Fortnite. You have your blue shields, you go ahead and throw those on. Any damage you take is going to hit your shield, not your actual health. That's what Max Guard does. Finally, you have Max Spirit. Again, you have to spend to unlock this on a certain Dynamax Pokemon. When you use this, it will go ahead and heal your Pokemon and your teammates' Pokemon. So if you want to use more of a healer role, you can go ahead and use Max Spirit to heal up some taken damage, which can be very important because again, once all your 3 Pokemon are dead, you're done. On screen, I'm going to put the name of all the max moves in Pokemon Go. Again, depending on what your fast move is what max move your Dynamax Pokemon will have when it Dynamaxes. We also have Gigantamax Pokemon we have to talk about. Now, Gigantamax Pokemon have max moves, but they're very exclusive max moves to that Gigantamax form. Most likely, these will be even stronger versions of max moves, and when we get Gigantamax Pokemon in Pokemon Go, they'll probably be the optimal counters for the max battles because they have these powered up max moves. Now, at the moment, we don't have any of the data mines based on how much damage the max moves do or how much do you get healed, but if you do upgrade them, of course, they will be more effective. Let's talk about upgrading max moves. Now, the price of upgrading or unlocking max moves is dependent on the category of your Pokemon, in which we have 4 types of groups of Pokemon, and it's all based on the candy cost and Stardust cost for unlocking a secondary move. Any Pokemon that secondary move costs 25 candies to unlock will be in group 1. Any Pokemon that it costs 50 candies to unlock them a second move, they're going to be in group 2. 75 candies are going to be Pokemon in group 3, and 100 candies is of course going to be group 4. Max particles and candy costs for unlocking max moves is a similar group system. For any Pokemon in the group 1, it'll cost you 400 max particles and 50 candies to unlock a new max move. Upgrading that max move to level 2 is 600 max particles and 100 candy. Finally, 800 max particles and 40 candy XL for getting it to level 3 or the max level. Group 2 Pokemon is going to be 400 max particles and 60 candy for the unlocking it, 600 max particles and 110 candy for getting it to level 2, 800 max particles and 45 candy XL for level 3. Group 3 Pokemon will be 400 max particles and 70 candy to unlock it, 600 max particles and 120 candy for level 2, and 800 max particles and 50 candy XL for level 3. Finally, group 4 Pokemon, which are legendaries and mythicals, will be 400 max particles and 80 candy for unlocking it, 600 max particles and 130 for level 2, and 800 candy and 55 XL candy for level 3. Now, the good thing though is when you do upgrade or unlock new max moves, you'll be rewarded with XP, with 4,000 XP for unlocking a new max move, 6,000 for taking it level 2, and 8,000 XP for maxing it out at level 3. By the way, there is a timer on how fast you have to use your max move. You'll see a circle going around your max move. If you don't click on anything, it'll automatically default to using your max attack move. I'm guessing this is just to prevent people from going completely AFK or forgetting. But yeah, you can't just like sit in Dynamax form forever and just sit there and watch the raid boss. You can of course trade Dynamax Pokemon for anyone wondering. If you do trade away a Dynamax Pokemon with multiple max moves, they will keep those moves. However, if you've upgraded any of your max moves to above level 2, they will be reset to 1 when you trade them away. So you can't just like fully build a Dynamax Pokemon, level 3 unlock all their moves, and then trade it over to your buddy. No, it's gonna reset for him. Okay, finally for Dynamax Pokemon, we need to talk about stationing Pokemon. Once you've completed a Dynamax raid, you have the option to station one of your 3 Pokemon you use in that Dynamax battle. Yes, you can't just station any Dynamax Pokemon, it has to be one of the ones you used in that Dynamax battle. You can station these at these power stops that will give other people who battle that Dynamax boss a damage boost. Each power stop can hold up to 20 stationed Pokemon, and you can find out how many Pokemon are at that station by clicking on the trophy icon. Now, depending on how many Pokemon are at that power stop, you will get a different damage boost. If there's 1 or more Pokemon at the power stop, you will of course have the level 1 attack boost. Or if there's 2 or more Dynamax Pokemon at the power stop, you'll have the level 2 attack boost. If there's 4 or more Pokemon at the power stop, you'll have the level 3 attack boost. And finally, if there's 15 or more Pokemon at that power stop, you have the level 4 attack boost. You can also see what level attack boost you have when you're in a Dynamax battle by looking at the little icon in the corner. Now, why would you station Pokemon at power stops? And that's because it grinds you candy. Once you station a Pokemon at a power stop, anytime someone takes down that Dynamax battle at that power stop, you will get candy and even Candy XL for the Pokemon you stationed. You can go ahead and click on the Pokemon you've stationed to see how much candy and Candy XL it's gotten you, but you will only collect that candy once that Pokemon returns to you. Now, at the moment, not a lot of people are getting candy. Some people are not even getting Candy XL. This is most likely because the higher tier battles most likely will be getting us the better rewards. So it seems like you only get like 5 candies from stationing a Pokemon at a power stop right now, but most likely, of course, these rewards will be increased once we get the 3 stars and the 5-star Dynamax battles going. You can, of course, recall a Dynamax Pokemon at any point from a stationed power stop, and once that power stop completely disappears, aka at 9 p.m. at night, that Dynamax Pokemon will be returned to you. So yes, stationing a Pokemon at power stops only really lasts the day. By the way, there seems to be a little bit of a glitch right now. If you do station a bunch of Pokemon at power stops, you might have trouble dropping Pokemon in gyms because most likely the game uses a similar station where you can have up to 20 Pokemon in gyms, 20 Pokemon at power stops. Maybe those numbers are getting all messed up. Most likely it seems like a glitch right now, but do be careful. You might have to recall some Pokemon from power stops if you want to drop Pokemon at gyms. And with that being said, guys, that is Dynamax in Pokemon Go. Let me know any questions you have and what you think about this feature in Pokemon Go. It does seem like a fully kind of secluded side quest feature because you can't use Pokemon that you've grinded from raids or from PvP, etc. So it is this own sort of side quest thing that you have to start from 0 at, which I think is kind of cool, but also obviously it sucks because you've spent probably a lot of Stardust on other Pokemon you might want to use in these Dynamax battles. Nonetheless, also drop your comments below and watch the video right below me. If you enjoyed this one, you'll enjoy that one as well. Hopefully this gave you a good insight on how Dynamax works and gets you guys started on your Dynamax adventures. We'll catch you all on the next one. Follow for more tips. Peace.